Om Namah Shivaya, world raisers, Sabine and Roger here. Let's watch how Shiva mastered death. A request by Nikhil and Shantanu.
Your body should sleep, your mind should sleep, everything should sleep, but you must be awake.
Every day, you have free enlightenment when you go to sleep. But the problem is you're unconscious.
You master your mortality if you just manage to stay awake when you slip into sleep. There are various aspects to that which we refer to as Shiva. The boundless reality is referred to as Shiva. The greatest of the yogis has been referred to as Shiva. His dance is referred to as Shiva, his music is referred to as Shiva, his stillness is referred to as Shiva. But of all this, he being a yogi is of the greatest importance in terms of opening up a door of possibility for every other human being. Somebody may be many things, but for the world, that dimension which is a possibility for the world is the most important thing. So he being a yogi is the most important thing. Being a yogi means many things. One aspect of a yogi is that he sleeps in his wakefulness and is awake in his sleep. That this must be fully awake, but if you check the parameters of the body, it must be asleep. In sleep, everything should be asleep, but you must be awake. Your body should sleep, your mind should sleep, everything should sleep, but you must be awake.
When you fast asleep, you're in perfect tune with the existence, one with the existence, isn't it? Nature has given you this. If you've forgotten, every day when you go to sleep, it makes you one with the existence. In the same sense of unity, if you can wake up and walk around, you made it, isn't it? Every day, you have free enlightenment when you go to sleep. But the problem is you're unconscious. So the sadhana essentially is just this, that from wakefulness when you go to sleep, a certain part of you goes to sleep, a certain part of you, if it still stays awake, then you made it. Otherwise, when you wake up, a certain part of you still continues to sleep, then you made it.
If you're awake and fast asleep at the same time, you're asleep and awake at the same time, this is called Turiya. If you are in a state of Turiya, we say you are a Mrityunjaya. That means you're deathless. Because if you can be awake in your sleep, you will also be awake when you have to shed the body. So there is no question of death for such a person. Because life and death are happening at the same time. It is only the ignorant who think, right now I'm alive and one day I will die. No, both are happening at the same time. They are not two different things actually, only for the sake of understanding, we have to divide them. Otherwise it's just life and life. One dimension of life and another dimension of life. So this transition from one dimension of life to another becomes an easy doorway. Every day you have this doorway available to you, that is, between wakefulness and sleep is as good as life and death. If you know how to exploit this doorway, if you stay alert till that last moment, Do you ever know when you actually slept off? You think you're there, but after some time, you don't know when you slept. If you can take yourself to that moment, it's as good as being conscious at the moment of death. You master your mortality if you just manage to stay awake when you slip into sleep. See, this is an opportunity for you. The best preparation for death is make an attempt to try to fall asleep consciously. Instead of drifting away, if you shift from wakefulness to sleep consciously, death will become a play. So, the moment of sleep is a tremendous opportunity. If you sleep in a certain way, tomorrow morning when you wake up, you can be significantly one notch up. Every day you have this opportunity to practice death. If you can manage that moment, like, you can do this consciously, right? Just like that, from wakefulness to sleep. If you can do it that way, that's it, you're Mrityunjaya, because there's no death for you.
Fascinating.
So, the crux of the message is to be awake, to wake up
Yeah.
to the divinity, the consciousness, the light of pristine awareness within, right? And doing that, at the time of passing into sleep, staying awake. It reminded me of the lucid dreaming teachings, right?
Yeah.
Like being awake in the dream state, and then touching on the Turiya, which we know is the fourth, right? So the fourth state, which is the consciousness.
Oh, that's where it came from. Okay.
Yeah, from the Sarva Priyananda video on Who Am I, right? So the fourth, right? The light of consciousness that lights up the other three states, right? The dreamless sleep, the dreaming state, and then the awake state, right? So our consciousness in those states is very much identified with physicality and form and matter, right? But the light of awareness and consciousness, the Turiya, that's the fourth, is, beyond physicality, and it's the light that shines onto the appearance of physicality. So everything is an appearance to the fourth, to that state, right?
Yeah.
So to be conscious while you sleep is tremendous opportunity, and then it's practicing for, the time of death, which is what this series is all about, Shiva living death. So, realizing that the death of the ego is not the death of you, it's the realization of the real you, right?
Nice.
So cool.
Yeah, again with the title, How Shiva Mastered Death. How Shiva Mastered Death?
Well, Shiva would have mastered that, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, no, of course.
And then teaching that, right? So remember, Shiva as the Adiyogi, the first yogi, and I love how he touched on it at the beginning of the video, saying that, Shiva is, the cosmos and the potentiality and the infinite space and the time and all of that stuff, right? We can call Shiva. But he said, but the most important thing about him is that he was a yogi, right? So the yogi, the Adiyogi, and that's why Sadhguru's teachings are so focused on Adiyogi, talking about yoga, because, as physical beings, if it's not for the teachings or aspiring to be a yogi ourselves and to transcend this duality and this physicality, then we would be lost perpetually, right? So it's the teachings that are important, and it's a yogi, somebody who has gone beyond, that can teach the way and the path. And so many teachers, many paths, many ways, but ultimately one destination, which is the transcendence of the dualistic mind, the psychological mind, the conceptual mind, whatever you want to call it, conventional reality to realize the ultimate reality, which is beyond form, right?
Yeah.
So
let us know if you managed to do that yet. Yeah, we heard these teachings before, right? We did a online retreat with Alan Wallace, and the topic was dream yoga. So yes, and actually, what is really funny, the timing is pretty good, because just before we started the sadhana for Mahashivratri, I I have strange nights ever since. Most nights, not every night, but it's at the beginning I was a bit worried because I thought I don't get enough sleep, because it seemed like I'm awake all night. Like there was like I was my dreams are so vivid and I remember them, and then when I wake up, like really wake up, there is not much difference. It's just like the pictures continue, and it's like, oh, now I'm in this seemingly almost like this story. Oh, and now I'm in this story, and it feels like I don't sleep at night, and yet when I get up in the morning, I'm totally rested, which is so interesting, which worried me at the beginning because I thought, oh my God, I'm not sleeping. I have to sleep to rest. But then after a few days, I realized, I'm actually rested, so I must be sleeping, even though it feels like I'm awake all night. And yeah, most nights over the last 3 weeks, it was like that. And also like lucid in the dream. And it's really interesting. It just came out of the blue again. So it's enjoyable in a way, because everything is so vivid. And I remember like my whole night and so much going on. And there are not many, like I don't black out very much. It's just, oh, now this. And anyways, it's an interesting experience.
Fascinating. So to be conscious in the dream state. Yeah. Anybody experience that? Can anybody relate to Sabine's experience?
Fascinating. And then, of course, it triggered the memories of, I'll fall asleep consciously. So I've been trying that. Of course, not exactly. Like, it's just, sometimes it feels like, oh, I'm awake for hours, but then I really wake up and then I realize I actually slept. Oh, it's all great.
And it was kind of triggered also because she started practicing Sadhguru's teachings of every time you go to sleep, you got to sleep like you're dying, right? So
but it was after.
Oh, that was after?
Yeah, I know. I have no... Because then this teaching came from the Karma book. To die before you sleep. Imagine you die. And then it fit perfectly in. I thought, this is another piece of the puzzle. But I have no idea what it actually triggered. Because also the sadhana not, because it was before. So, I don't know. It's just all of a sudden happened.
Fascinating. So,
anyways, I'll share.
So very cool. Anybody can relate. Let us know in the comments. Remember to hit that like button. It really, really helps the channel. Remember to subscribe. And the most important thing, raise yourself.
And raise the world. Thank you so much, everyone. And a very special thank you to all our members. We love you.
Peace.